Hello Sagittarius, and welcome to your monthly forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh, and as always, this can help you navigate sun, rising, and moon, and it's going to help you with the next 6 to 8 weeks. Let's get started with channeled messages. One of my favorite totems came through in dreams, and it was the wolf. For me, the wolf represents all kinds of things: skill, cunning, instinct. It's also an amazing hunter, so if there's something that you're trying to create or capture in your life, this is the month to really bring it to the forefront. It, of course, is also connecting us here to the moon card, which can represent sometimes fear or anxiety or the unknown. And in tarot, the moon is a reminder to face that. And one of the ways that in everyday life you can deal with fear is simply through education, because education empowers you. And when you know what you're facing, there's really nothing to fear anymore. This card also features a path right down the center. For many of you, there's something new that's calling to you. It could be a passion that you've just rediscovered or discovered for the first time. It could be something that's just piquing your curiosity. Right between you and that moon, though, we see the wolf and the dog. And basically, this can represent this sort of nexus that you're at between doing what you were taught or expected to do and what your instinct is calling you to do. There can also be competition. So the lobster is the fear, the wolf and the dog are all of these different aspects of our life where you're being asked to maybe move away from this template into something new. And if you can do that this month, you get the power of the moon, which can pull the tide. So this is a really exciting energy that's coming through. And I think that there's a lot of potential here and a lot of creative force too, because the moon is also intuition and creativity. Let's move into the next dream that I had. I found myself in a room where I was hearing murmuring, and it looked like a very pleasant gathering. Couldn't get the specifics other than I saw a lot of people and I liked the energy. It could represent, for some of you, reconnecting or connecting for the first time with friends, and I also use this word here, chosen family. You know, we are born into a certain family, but as we age and as our own family may kind of go smaller in size, it's the chosen family that matters the most. The very close friends that you have on speed dial or you could text at any time of the day or night. Now is a chance to deepen those relationships, but if they don't exist, fear not, because this is a month where you could actually start to foster, create, or expand any sort of network that you're looking for. This can also represent a celebration or some good news. I just felt like there was a lot of great people coming into your life this month. 10 of Pentacles seemed optimal here because it can fit the category of both business and home life. So here's hoping you get a little bit of both. The final thing that came through in dreams was kind of like a double-edged sword. So I saw growth and movement and the ability to climb and basically achieve new things. But I was also looking at these tendrils that were growing out of a vine, kind of like morning glory or any climbing vine. And I saw them gently starting to wrap around someone's leg. So this can represent in a contract the addition of things that you didn't agree to. Back when I had a regular corporate job, it was called scope creep. There was a particular word for it because it would just kind of like a glacier start to creep in and, take up resources. So you really need to be aware of what you agreed to do, what others agreed to do, and to basically just hold both sides accountable and say, this wasn't part of an original agreement. Let's tack it on to the next phase of the project or something like that. Let's put it on the back burner for now. That'll help you out. This can also represent strings that are attached or people that are trying to hold you in place. A lot of times this happens because of fear of abandonment. You can see this in parents and friends where you're getting ready to go to a next level and they might be trying to sort of just keep you where you're at. It can also be overreach in a different way, and this can be someone weighing in on how they think you should be living your life without the invitation of that sort of advice. Again, it could be well-intentioned, but it might be something that you really aren't open to receiving. So all you have to say is thanks, but no thanks, or thanks, but I'm really going to move forward on this path. And as gently, as possible, push back. But if it keeps coming in, just say, I'm not really seeking feedback. Thanks. Or stop. You can kind of ease your way into whatever feels right for you. Focus on using your energy this month because ultimately this is a chance to basically achieve and reach new heights. I chose this particular devil card from Light Seers Tarot because we can see the little puppet with the strings. So the entanglements are things that you can cut or release, and it is going to require for some of you simply speaking up, saying no, or pushing back. And once you do that, you're basically reconnecting with your power, with your authority, with your agency, and that puts you in a nice spot. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the cards and see what additional messages are coming from Spirit for the month ahead. There we are with the synchronicity. Deep past, we have the moon. So far, so good. I really like the overarching energy. I'll reserve all my comments here for just a moment, but I like what I see so far. Also very interesting that we have the lover and the lovers and the lover. This is in the area of wealth, so we'll dig a little deeper when we get there. But so far, that's a really beautiful card and a great placement for it as well. All right, we're going to get started with your catalyst, and we have Chiron coming through to give you some new direction. The way that I read the Catalyst card is it's an area where you can really make significant change or movement. Chiron is a wonderful figure in mythology. He was a centaur, a teacher, a mentor, but mostly known as a healer. The irony here was he could heal and help everybody but himself. He had a wound that just couldn't be healed on his own. So there might be something in your life where you've done everything that you possibly could, but you would benefit from leaning on someone else, talking to someone else. And this is the month to do that. And when you finally kind of let go of possibly just holding on to it because of comfort or because of fear or just because you haven't dealt with it, then all these great opportunities start to open up. And that's when the healing and the love and abundance really start to flow into your life. So you don't have to heal yourself all by yourself. And that's the main message from the Catalyst here. Some of you may also be deciding to embark on a path of counseling, healing, teaching, and support. Remember to make sure that you're also creating the foundation to give yourself everything that you're giving other people. So love yourself, nurture yourself, and also focus on healing yourself too. With that in mind, let's take a quick sneak peek at what the cards are showing us. I love the near future and the outcome. It's basically opportunity and a change in fortune. We also see expansion, lots of love coming through. It is reversed, so we'll deal with that in just a second. But otherwise, I love that we've got a lot of resource cards. We have some healing, we have some movement, and some change. It's, again, pretty exciting overall. Let's begin with the lovers. The lovers came through reversed. It's connecting you to work. There could be someone that you meet because of work or social activities, extracurricular activities. You could also just be pulling in a very important partner that could be also a business partner. So the lovers doesn't always have to relate to a relationship. It can be best friend, business partner, and of course, partner in life. In the upright position, this card represents an attractive or magnetic vibe that you're putting out there. This is your centermost card. It means that people are looking at you this month and they're saying, whatever you've got going on, I'd like you to be a part of my life, or I want to be a part of yours. There's definitely some interest. A reversal of this card, it's nuanced. It can mean 2 or 3 things. Let's break it down one by one. Intuitively, the thing that comes through the most is just you second guessing yourself, because this is good stuff. The universe sees that you've done the inner work, the healing work, and it may be sending you someone who is resonating with that healing, and they're coming forth just saying, I see you, I appreciate you, I love you. And there could be a little bit of doubt or discomfort because you haven't heard that in a while. So this is just saying get used to it because you earned it, you did the work. This can also represent discernment and sometimes unrequited feelings. So if you feel it but the other party doesn't, honor their feelings. If they feel it but you don't, be honest and basically untether yourself from one another so that you can find people that are mutually receptive and interested in whatever it is that we're looking at, whether it's love, friendship, or work. This is also just the universe saying, do you love and appreciate yourself? Because if you don't, then you could be calling in a relationship that's going to test that and try to help you heal that, but it's not always as fun because that's someone who may be reinforcing some old patterns so that you get sick of it and say, wait a second, I deserve better. And then a light bulb kind of goes off and you're like, oh, I'm ready to heal this finally. So love wants to come forth, really focus on healing and loving yourself. And as a result, you'll pull in higher love this month as well. Crossing this card, we have the Page of Pentacles, a really good card for business. This is a great time to make new connections. Not only that, but again, you may surprise yourself at how easy it is to have a job meeting or an interview. You might also find that if you're like a small business person, there could just be a lot of incoming work because of good word of mouth, or people are just kind of more drawn to you this month. So what's important here is to, be realistic and make sure that you're growing with this sort of wave of energy that we see here. This is about listening to what other people are saying. So going into the vibe of business and work, this can also be customers giving you feedback. And if you act on that, great things can happen. Pages at their best are both communicating and listening. So listen to the constructive feedback because there's a lot to be gained with that as well. And ultimately, anything that you want to put out there is really being well received. So I just see a lot of positive movement, incoming and outgoing when it comes to money, feedback, opportunity, constructive criticism. All these things are going to really, really help you in this moment. Some of you are deciding also to embark on something new for yourself, and I like that as well. It looks like all of these things are leading you towards this eventual ace here in the future. First things first, we need to talk about the moon, which came through in the deep past. As I take a look at this particular illustration, the words "take the high road" came to me. So for some of you, there might be a challenge, or it's almost like someone's putting a bait in front of you, a trap, and you're not going to take the bait. You're going to say, I see what you're trying to do, and it's not going to work this time. And you've learned through wisdom, experience, and trusting your instincts when to speak up and when to kind of hold your peace. So there is something more worthy of your time and energy than whatever it is that might be in front of you. Listen to that intuition. Avoid, like I said, the trappings of, competition. It's not worth it. And focus on elevating your thoughts, actions, and go down that path in front of you. We already talked quite a bit earlier about it, so that's just a reiteration of that. And I'm basically showing karmically and cosmically that you've done the work here. I love that we have the Magician in the recent past. In the reverse state, this is basically saying you have everything that it takes. All that's lacking in this moment is either faith or focus. And we can deal with that because meditation and just a little bit of positive thought can help you overcome it. In the upright position, the Magician basically reminds you that the sky is the limit. They have all of the elements in front of them. The only challenge sometimes can be when to get started and what to do. So the discernment thing comes in here too. Just because you have all of these options or all of these tools in front of you doesn't mean you have to use them. So really decide what is calling to your voice, to your vision, focus on it, and ultimately believe in it. Magic only works if you believe it. And you really need to trust in your own ability this month. And that's the main message here. Believe and focus. In your crowning position, you have one of the best cards for communication, Queen of Swords. When she speaks, others listen. When she does something, people pay attention. So you're both walking the walk and talking the talk this month. And if you can do both, if you're basically accountable and you lead by example, then people are drawn to you. And that explains, by the way, why the Lover's energy was coming through. Really, when you're speaking, also think about your audience. The Queen of Swords is at her best when she knows what she wants to say, who she's talking to, and she tailors it. Timing is everything, tone is everything. So before speaking, definitely do the practice. And if you can get to that place where you kind of know it inside out, you're golden. If, however, you speak without thinking, the power of this is that words can make an impact. They can also kind of cut too deeply. So when it comes to anything that is critical, make sure there's a constructive element, make sure the timing is good. Also make sure that you're checking in to ensure that the other person is ready to receive. But all of those things notwithstanding, she's one of the best cards for getting stuff done. If you need to publish something, if you need to get up and do public speaking, if you need to fight for something, this is the card you want. She's also connected with the law. So fighting for what's right, advocating for yourself, cutting through any of the nonsense, all of that's there. In this particular illustration, we also see all of these transformational butterflies kind of flying around her. So you're an agent of change this month if you'd like to be. So if there's something that needs to shift or move or be dealt with, or if you want to change it, using your voice, using your actions, leading by example, everything we just talked about, it's all connected to that. And this brings you into the very deserved Ace of Pentacles. You've worked hard for this moment, go for it. The Ace, especially a Rider-Waite-Smith Ace, it can either be reaching out and delivering something, or it can be you reaching for something that you want. Either way, it's something that is possible and it's something that is deserved. We finally see for some of you an acknowledgement, a reward, an opportunity coming into your field. And again, all that you have to do is say, I see it, I'm ready, I believe it. The belief energy that we talked about here with the Magician is basically understanding that you called this into being, you manifested it. So no disbelief here. Let's just take a moment to look at the triptych that is the three cards at the center. So manifestation, magnetism, and opportunity. So knowing yourself, loving yourself, and accepting not just yourself, but opportunities that are coming in, and putting that same energy back out there, because you basically get what you give. And so give that sense of faith and hope and creation, creativity, give that sense of love and unconditional acceptance, and then you're going to receive it in kind. There could be a new job coming in, new love for sure, because we're right by the lovers. And for some of you, maybe just an idea like, I want to go into something new, a new sort of like this epiphany, this new path. I really love to see this connection here between the Ace of Pentacles and the Wheel of Fortune. So let's take this 3-card journey to get us there. And it all begins here with the Judgment card. Yes, it came through reverse, but if we look at it in the upright position, what Judgment represents is this ability to move beyond something, to rise up. In many decks, it's a phoenix rising from the ashes. In this one, we can see rebirth. So usually you would see coffins and souls rising up and this angel leading them to something bigger, something better, something brighter. So for any of you that have come through a difficult moment in your life, potentially a loss of a loved one, loss of a job, maybe even loss of confidence, any sort of energy where it feels like I had something and then I didn't. It's a realization and this sort of growth energy that's going to help you never take something for granted again. And you're going to be bigger, better, stronger on this other side too, and have this firmer foundation because of that experience as well. Let's break down why this is probably reversed for you. In the upright position, Judgment can simply be a decision that has been made or a path that has been laid out, and it's clear. When it's reversed, there is an inner knowing. I need to do this, or this person feels this way, or this serves me or doesn't serve me, whatever the epiphany is. But there is resistance to the path, to the decision, to that sort of clear next step. And what you want to work on this month is overcoming the resistance to something that possibly to everyone else around you would be very clear and obvious. Sometimes we are attached to something because it's comfortable, a relationship that everyone else knows has already kind of gone through the motions, or a job where you know you're not really engaged with it anymore, or an apartment where you know it's time to move on. There are any number of things that we wrap around ourselves like a blanket because it feels safe and it feels predictable, but we know it's time to move on. For many of you, it's saying it's going to be okay. Not only is it going to be okay, but you're going to thrive on the other side. It's just a matter of saying, yeah, this is the next step, okay? And the healing doesn't have to happen all on your own. We mentioned earlier that, you know, there's a lot of positivity to be gained by working with a counselor, therapist, someone who's just a mentor or an expert that can help you see how to do it too. And that's something that you can do this month as well. This can be a second chance. So if you tried something before and it didn't work, you can see yourself as a different person now, therefore more capable, more deserving, and more able to make it work this time around. So that's basically what I'm picking up on here, is a big shift that is already happening, but basically just this sort of paradigm shift that has to happen in the headspace as well. As we look at your environment, once you make that shift, it starts to move quickly. We have the Knight of Swords, which is arguably one of the fastest moving cards in tarot. So all that's necessary on your part is trusting your heart, trusting your instincts. We talked about the wolf earlier, and then saying to yourself, either in your head or externally, let's do this. I'm ready. I'm deserving. And that is when the magic starts to happen. Okay? This is also saying if there's something that you want to fight for, if there's something that you're really advocating for, you have the capacity to bring it into shape or into form. So be an agent of change, speak up, and basically make it happen if you want to. This is also a card of movement. So if something doesn't feel or look right to you here, and you're like, I really need this or I really want that, then you have a chance now to move in that direction. I just think that whenever that acceptance happens, movement follows. In hopes, fears, and opportunity, we have a card that is connected to expansion. The Eight of Cups in any deck allows you to basically see what the world has to offer, come back renewed, refreshed, and able to make a better decision. In this deck, we see not only can you do that, but you might actually be able to see that better path. This is the second time we've seen a winding path that leads to power. This card, it's about instinct and, again, the ability to pull things towards you. Once you do that, you can actually go into this major expansive moment here in the Eight of Cups. So let's talk about this for a moment. Some of you may have gone from one thing to another without a break. It could be a series of things that are similar, like 1 or 2 or 3 relationships without any breaks. It could also be jobs, or it could be a combination of things compiled with something else like a move, and all of these things happening at once. And this is saying, in the throes of all of this movement, make sure that you're taking a breath, even if it's just 5 minutes or, a couple of hours. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself, you're getting out, getting some fresh air, and you're thinking, how did I get here? What do I want to do next? Am I missing anything? And particularly when there's a really important decision, should I stay or should I go? And this can be in work, in love, or in a living situation, that you're really sleeping on it before making that major decision. Because that extra bit of time is going to help you see things more clearly. And ultimately, whatever you are trying to do, even if it's not here right now, the path that you are taking is leading you to a bigger, better, brighter future. We're continuing to get that message time and again. As we take a look at your outcome, it's really, really optimal. We have the Wheel of Fortune here. Yes, it's reversed, but this can represent a changing relationship with respect to money or self-confidence or self-worth or wealth itself. So you get to change the narrative. In the near future, we see something great that's incoming. All you have to do is decide, I'm ready to receive this. I'm ready for more, for love and abundance in the highest form. So you could just be changing your attitude towards money. You may also be deciding to pivot or shift your career in a new direction. This is the helm of a ship. There's really no wrong direction in a wheel. It's just saying, where do you want to go next? You and you alone can make that decision. And we see here in the crowning card that saying what you want is going to be important. So for those of you that are feeling a glass ceiling at work, speaking up and saying, I'm ready for this, might be all that's necessary. They're waiting for you to communicate what you desire. For those of you that have kind of experienced some sort of a setback, you can go out on your own and try something new or create something new, or look around and maybe find something that was a better match. The movement is towards new money, new resources, and new opportunities coming in. So we'll especially look at that as we go into wealth in just a few moments. But we're going to start off first with a card in health, and this is the beginning of the expanded forecast. So health, wealth, love, and destiny. Beginning, of course, here with the health card, and it says storm warning. I will take a warning when it comes to health. It basically is saying your body's going to give you some sort of a signal that you want to pay attention to something. Could be something in your mouth where you're like, I need to go to the dentist. There could be an ache and a pain where you need to go to a doctor, or it could just be this feeling like, I want to get ahead of this. Let's be preventative. Just like when you have a car or a home, you just do certain things routinely to make sure that nothing is there or nothing is wrong. And so you can take something at its very beginning and avoid the outcome that you see here, which is very much connected to the Tower card in tarot, which is harder to maintain if you don't listen to the warning. And that's it. We don't need any fear when we look at this. Just listen to your body and act upon those feelings, particularly if there's an ache, a pain, or discomfort. Judgment here in the reverse state is also saying that you can take that as a wake-up call and rise above, okay? Let's go ahead now and shift the focus and look at the other cards here to see what other things are coming through. I want to start off with the Moon card, which can represent changes in fertility. And the interesting thing here is this can indicate a pregnancy for those of you trying to get pregnant. This can also have to do with reproductive organs or even just basically the urological tract. So for those of you that are overdue to visit the urologist, OBGYN, or anything of that nature, this card is reminding you again to take care of that as the preventative maintenance that we were talking about here. And especially as we get older, that's just part of the routine that you add into, looking towards the future. So that's one thing that came through. Let's see what else is coming in the cards here. The Eight of Cups is actually quite auspicious when we're looking at health. Anything that you decide to do now has the ability to stick. So it's a pattern that you can create and maintain. And sometimes you need that wake-up call that comes through in the judgment and an energy here. Because this is actually about awakening or, rebirth, I'm actually getting a little bit around sleep or waking up. So for those of you that are having difficulty, this is not about necessarily going to bed. What I'm picking up on here is waking up and feeling tired or not feeling that sense of rest. This could have to do with things like sleep apnea or maybe having too much or not enough sleep. Things like that, you can actually go to a sleep clinic or talk to your doctor. There's any number of things that could be kind of like reinforcing that, maybe even hormonal, but that's what I'm getting. Are you feeling rested after sleeping at night? And then those are the only major sort of markers here. The other thing is mostly just paying attention to emotional healing. So what we talked about earlier, there's a lot of work that we can do by ourselves, for ourselves, on ourselves, but there are some things where we benefit from having the coach, the expert in our life, and this is one of those things as well. So if there is something from the past and you're having a difficult time wrapping your head around it or figuring out what to do next, don't be afraid to ask for some assistance. So that's pretty much it. One last thing, and this has more to do with the safety of your house. So storm warning, it can actually be as simple as making sure that you're taking a look at your roof, the storm drains, and making sure that you have insurance for things like storm damage. All right, that's the last message there. Let's go ahead and move on to wealth. I'm really interested to see this, especially with the Lover card that came through. So wealth is resources, life, purpose, and career. The Lover card, just like the Lovers, is a really attractive card and one filled with possibilities. In the reverse state, it's interesting. Some of you may be doing something that you've fallen out of love with, or you may be in a situation where, again, success is incoming, but there's this internal recalibration of, do I deserve it? Am I ready for this? Do I want this much attention? Something is a little bit obscured with that, but the good news is when you have a card that says the Lover on it, there's a chance for you to make a splash, because we have a bird here too, but also to really thrive in this moment. If you don't like what you're doing, this is a time to look around. You got double Lovers cards. There may be two opportunities, or there may be someone that just really sees you for who you are, and you might find something where it's just a better match for you as well. Let's break this down. We're going to look at three different categories. We'll start off with those in a job, those who are job seeking, and those that are happily retired. All that I just said for those in a job is really important. Do you like where you're at? Do you like what you're doing? And are you at a point now where you feel deserving of the opportunities that are knocking? It actually looks really good for existing job trajectories, because this is showing an opportunity that's knocking. It may not happen immediately. This could be 6 to 8 months, so towards the end of the year, but then we see something coming through. The Wheel of Fortune in reverse can also just be this sense of it's unexpected, or it's faster than you thought it might be. And you also have to think, sometimes, I know this is a weird sort of message, but it's coming through. Sometimes when you have an opportunity for promotion, there's resistance because Maybe you're happy in the production role. Not everyone wants to be a boss or a leader. There's nothing wrong with that. This could also be external pressure trying to push you towards money, success, or title, and you're like, I like what I'm doing. I like where I'm at. I like having free time. Some of you like the ability to be able to travel and see the world and all of that. So you get to calibrate and basically quantify how far you want to go and how much you want to turn that steering column towards the corporate ladder, success, or money, or advancement, because you're already doing a great job where you're at. So that's something that I just want to highlight there. One thing that I'm seeing here that has been sort of systemic or happening for a while for some of you is, there can be some interesting things going on with the morale. A moon card in a general sort of corporate read or a job read can just show that, it's hard to get people to speak the truth or to keep their promises. So if you want something, if you're interested in it, definitely get it in writing. So, if a mentor, boss, or superior says, you're in line for this promotion, say, great, can we put this in my plan? Can you get that in writing? I'm ready for it, but I want to make sure that it happens because we've talked about this before and it hasn't happened. So basically, you want to get it in writing and you want to be very clear on what it is that you expect. That being said, the other thing that I mentioned earlier also holds true here, which is if you don't see something, you can make it, you can create it, you can reach for it. This card is as much as receiving as it is reaching for something new, okay? Lots of possibilities when it comes to business. Many of you are exactly where you need to be. If you don't like what you are doing, though, there's a chance to grow or to go somewhere else, okay? And so this is a month where there's a lot of possibilities if you're currently employed. People want to hear what you have to say. They may also be asking you to put things into writing yourself. This could be some sort of like a speech or like a curriculum or a guide. Anyway, there's a path here to success if you want it. For those of you seeking opportunities, looking for a new job this month, this is absolutely one of the best cards we could get. This is one of the best cards we could get. This is one of them. You really have to believe in yourself, though, because when you go to that interview, these two cards are about someone who's looking for confidence and clarity. And then you get a reward for that. I also think that you have really good negotiation skills. This is true of those in a job and looking for a job, to bring things into a better place financially. So this is a chance to really, make sure that you're not selling yourself short. And again, if you wanted a job before it didn't work out, now it's being relisted, you have a chance this time, a better chance. We'll be talking about students in a moment, but this holds the same there. Like if you applied to a program and it didn't work. So whether it's an internship program, a degree seeking program, or a job, you have a second chance, and this time it looks like a change of fortune. For those that are retired, this is really a good time for you to travel and see the world, because that's really what this card is about. It does not actually even require getting on a plane. This can just be something local. The other thing that I see here is a chance to, I know you're like, why would I go back to school? Why not? You might be learning something brand new just because you want to. It does not have to be a degree seeking program or even something that is going to make money. It's just like you want to learn something new. Some of you are doing more with speaking and writing, so public speaking or recording a memoir or recording music, because there's so many cards around communication. And that's true for both people that are looking for work and retired. I just see a lot of commonality as we're looking at all of these. For students, make sure that you love the path that you're on. You have possibly two different forks in the road where it's like, I could do this, I like this a lot, I could do this, I like that even more. Figure out what it is that your heart is really telling you to do before you commit to the next leg of the journey. If you had a setback anywhere in this situation, so for students, maybe failed a class or took off a semester or something didn't work, again, I just see things really picking up in the right direction here. Don't let one hiccup take you off this overarching journey, and that's true of everybody. I keep trying to separate it, but there's some common messages this month for each sector, and as I read it for one, I'm like, but that's actually true for the rest. So there's a lot to love this month. There's a lot of opportunities, and really Spirit wants you to check in with your heart and say, do you like what you're doing? What do you want to do next? Speak it, write it, do it. All right, and that's it, folks. Let's move on to love and relationships. We have the dog spirit. The dog is about loyalty. Be loyal to what you love. So if you're looking for that loyal partner, you have a great chance of manifesting it. We got the lovers twice here. By the way, if you're looking for love, it could come through a work connection, a school connection, or something in the community if you volunteer, etc. The dog, of course, is not just on the moon card. This can be someone from the past coming back. It also is on the Fool. So through traveling, you could also meet somebody. So basically through work, through travel, or doing something that you love, you could be pulling that energy in. And just like my lovely dog in the background there, Apollo, for those of you that are fortunate enough to take care of any type of pet, cat, dog, bird, etc., you just know that beautiful unconditional love that comes through. It feels like many of you are on the precipice of connecting with someone that can give back in the same way that those of us that have fur babies are already blessed with. But you may also be expanding your family to include an animal, and this is just confirmation of that. Let's expand this now to look at those in a relationship looking for love or happily single. If you're in a relationship, we already get a confirmation that this is something that's good. There is pressure for some of you to meet up to others' expectations. This card is reminding you to get back to basics, really just to focus on the two of you. Love one another, support one another, and when it comes to families' expectations, like when am I going to get to be a grandparent, or when are you going to do this? When are you going to just sort of say, we're good. You do you, we'll do us, and we'll all sort of focus on what's important. Pay them no mind is basically what I get there. In the deep past, what I'm seeing for some of you is a feeling of fear because of something that didn't work out. It isn't necessarily even this existing relationship. There may have been a pattern where there was someone who wasn't honest or something that didn't work. And I'm not seeing it here because we have two like-minded energies, loyalty, a lot of things to love here, and two people that seem equally as invested, equally as communicative. So happy to see swords coming through, and two very compatible swords cards, a queen and a knight. I feel like you guys are evenly matched. As I take a look at the magician card here, one thing did come to mind, which is for some of you, there may be a lack of effort or energy put into kindling the flame between one another. Now, when it comes to chemistry, it's there or it's not. But when it comes to intimacy and deepening that sort of connection to one another, that is something that you can invest in. So this month, make sure that you are taking time out from your schedule to be together. And intimacy is not just about time in the bedroom. It's also talking to one another, sharing your hopes and dreams, sharing common activities, just being there with each other in important moments. That deepens the bond, and that opens the heart, and that makes the connection all that much deeper. So just making sure that there is a little bit of work on kindling, rekindling, or feeding that flame, that's going to be key. And I definitely see a return on that when it's offered, because the page and the ace are very compatible with that. And there's a lot of compatible cards here, the queen and the knight, the ace and the page. I just see things, as long as both partners are putting in the work, you're good. Now, for those of you that are looking for love this month, absolutely, we have the lovers at the center. The fact that it came through reversed can simply, again, go to that energy of, do you believe in your own sort of worth or capacity or preparedness to bring in that new relationship? Because as long as you do, it's ready to come knocking, because we have the Ace of Pentacles right here. And you have the ability to manifest. The only thing that I would say here is, there are a couple of options here. We have at least two air signs. We have possibly an earth sign. So there's a lot of different energies. Be really specific. Say, I'm ready and I'm willing to wait for the right person, because you don't have to settle for something if it doesn't feel right. That's the number one thing for those that are looking. Don't fake it. If you feel it, great. If you don't, trust in that emotion. Communication should be really easy, as we see with these two cards. You shouldn't have to pull, sort of the threads of conversation out. You might have someone who has a similar interest, for those of you that have wanderlust and want to travel, or some sort of similar interest in work or a hobby. There's a commonality here that makes the communication easier. Also, it feels almost like you're slipping on a glove here. There's a past life energy. The main issue that you're working on karmically this lifetime is trust. So Be as honest and forthright as possible, and that's going to help you release any karmic patterns. But I really don't even have to hesitate saying, yeah, it's a great month to meet new people. The only thing that could stand in the way is all of the work energy that's coming through. There's a lot of opportunity for personal development and career development. You may also be asked to travel for work for those of you that are working. And so that could come in between you and the ability to sort of like develop a new relationship. At the end of the day, if you put in the work this month, it has the ability to basically go the distance, and that's really cool. Let's shift the focus to those that are happily single. If you're happily single, like I was just saying, personal development, career development, and just growth in general are all of the cards that we see here in the near future in the outcome and in hopes, fears, and opportunities. There could be an opportunity to travel for work, do some public speaking, a chance to just meet people that you vibe with, the chosen family, as I was talking about a little bit earlier. And also there's this big sort of personal developmental piece, which is you might surprise yourself at your ability to rebound, to come back from some sort of a challenge, to be able to help people by sharing your story, especially if it was a difficult one. And so your biggest gift is your ability to connect with others this month in however you decide to do that. For those of you that really aren't focused so much on, getting a job, you're retired, you just want to do something, I still see either stepping into the role of educator or possibly doing something and learning it just because you want to learn, like auditing a class, like incorporating a new skill. Ironically, it could bring people forth that want your time or expertise, and now you get to be super picky because some of you may not have to do this for the sole sake of money. It's just sort of like, I like doing it. And that puts you in a really powerful position. Let's go ahead now and look at one of the most interesting cards in the deck, our Destiny card. So we have Thoth coming through here, Thoth light codes, light initiation, great teacher awakening, divine magic. Also this energy of death and rebirth, which we also got with this particular card, which was representing self. So this is a month where you're learning that, your spiritual depths, your intellectual depth, maybe even the relationship connections that you have, there's a chance for any one of those or all of them to go deeper than they have in the past. The speed with which these developments progress could also surprise you. So major changes, major shifts, and for the better, light code downloads. It's basically, you may be waking up 2 or 3 times this month with just like this clear understanding, oh, that's why I've always had challenges with my mother or with my daughter or whoever in your life. Oh, this is what I should be doing, and this is why I'm blocked in my career. It's like these light bulbs just kind of click. Trust the epiphanies as they happen. That also is the wolf energy coming forth. Wisdom and instinct. They're sometimes kind of like, combined and coming through at the same time. And this chance to rise up and accomplish something that you couldn't have accomplished in the past because you're different now. You're awake. You're ready. And of course, this is also connected to the Magician. This is a great month to delve deeper into intuitive capabilities, healing capabilities, and maybe for some of you that want to go deeper into like astrology too. This is like uncovering the secrets of the universe. It's a really cool time for you to go as far as you want to. At the very least, this is about awakening and feeling, I was mentioning that sleepy energy. It feels like you wake up. By the end of the month, you're very much clear on who you are and what you want. And if it's just that awakening, then this is a great month ahead for you. Let's go ahead now and go a little bit deeper into the sun, rising, and moon sign messages to help you navigate what's coming through. Sun, rising, and moon. Let's begin first with the sun sign. I always like to start with the Two of Pentacles and look at this as a chance to achieve the perfect balance in your life. Work-life balance, or possibly something else where you're like, I don't want to have to feel like I'm constantly torn between things. Two of Pentacles is an invitation to choose or focus on the thing that brings the most value and to delegate or simply cut ties with the thing that doesn't. We see someone walking on a tightrope here. For some of you, this is also the understanding that if you have to constantly, if you feel like you're walking on broken glass in a conversation with a family member, a friend, or a coworker, and it's always that way, maybe right now it's not the best investment of time and energy. You shouldn't have to be tiptoeing around things all the time. This is a chance for you to be your authentic and communicative self. So choosing one thing, accomplishing the perfect balance, and realizing that sometimes, if you have to constantly change, edit, or mute yourself, it's just not working. Something's off in the energy. Give yourself time to recalibrate. Give them time to recalibrate. You can always come back later and see how you feel on that. This is true for people, places, and things. You're calibrating and recalibrating internally, and then you're going to go back on that tightrope and see how you feel. And you may just decide to say, enough of that, I'm going to focus on this, okay? When it does come to finances, this is a card that basically encourages a more frugal approach, but it is not a limited mindset. It's not saying that this is all I have to be fearful. It's just saying, this maybe isn't the month to buy a luxury item. I'm going to focus on thinking about things 2 or 3 steps ahead. I'm not going to deprive myself, but I'm not going to overextend or overspend. And that's it. Choose wisely, focus on what matters, and do less, but do it better. Spend less, but make more of an impact with how you spend your time, energy, and money. Focusing now on rising sign messages, Hermit reversed. This is saying you've done enough research and it's time to come out of your shell. It's the antithesis of deciding to just kind of pull up the covers and read, study, or take care of yourself. Some of you may still have a little bit of healing to do, and this card is also just reminding you of your strength and ability to push through this. It's also saying you don't have to do this alone. If we go back to Chiron, Chiron needed some assistance to ultimately take care of the pain that he had. So you may have the same for whatever issue is in front of you. And it's seeking external sources and opinions, not just one. So getting second opinions when it comes to health, finance, career, and general life path overall. This is also just showing you that, you have maybe more wisdom, more experience, more depth than people recognize or even you recognize. For social endeavors, come out of your shell, have some fun, meet with some people. Obviously, as we looked at the cards here, there's a lot of love to be found. There's a lot of opportunity that's knocking. So this is definitely a time where you don't want to underestimate that potential. Moving on to moon sign messages, we have the Princess or the Page of Wands coming through here. This is a really good card with respect to the ability to send and receive messages and new information. For those of you that are in business, people are interested in your ideas. So if you're sitting at a table, don't be afraid to raise your hand to speak up or just simply to share or show an idea. To that end, Wands is a demonstrative card. It's not always about using fancy words or speaking. You could just simply show a prototype or point to a real life example and say, hey, this is actually already happening out here. We can do it too. And you can help people wrap their heads around things by showing them, not just telling them. And in your own life, it's about passion. Look at all the flames here. Do you feel the flame? Do you feel the passion? Do you love who you are, what you're doing, and where you're at? If not, this is a time to fan the flames of passion in your life, to speak up, to ask, to reach out for those, because we also, like I said, this works both ways. If you reach out, if you ask, you have a good chance of receiving and getting what it is that you want. All right, folks, let's move on to final question, final card. This is your chance to ask one thing that I've yet to cover. It can be anything, so think about it. Let me shuffle the cards and let's see what Spirit has to say. You got 2 cards, which is really cool. They're both upright. Let's talk about them. The first one is Justice. So as a yes or no, this is usually an affirmative card. Justice in the upright position, though, reminds you at the end of the day, the decision is yours and yours alone, and it should be something that feels right. She's all, like, literally, we can take it at face value. It's time to do the right thing. For those of you that are focusing on a legal issue or challenge, this is pretty auspicious, especially when we have the Queen of Cups. So this can be a positive outcome to you fighting for something that you deserve or that's right for you. This is also about finding balance in your life, making a major decision. Some of you might be deciding to get into a relationship or out of a relationship. Either way, we see things working favorably for you. These are 2 affirmative cards. You may have a couple of questions that you fired at me, and that's why 2 came through. Otherwise, we're just getting, you have to make the decision and you'll be happy with the outcome. Affirmative energy with both of these. So it's as much of a yes as I can give you. The Queen of Cups can also show favorable energy with respect to your own creative endeavors, any sort of relationships, and just generally turning things around when it came to the emotional healing that initially presented itself with the Chiron card. So across the board, this is a great month ahead for you, and I'm really excited to see how it shapes up for many of you. So please keep me posted in the comments. Let me know what things you're dealing with, and come back mid-month or later in the month and let me know how it's all working out. Okay? Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your journey this month. If you enjoyed this, do me a favor. It's absolutely free and it really helps. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, leave a comment, and share. This is a great way to let me know that this made a difference for you. You can also join me on social media. It's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, on all major social media platforms. A reminder, by the way, I don't give any sort of private readings, so if you ever see someone offering one in comments, or if you see someone pretending to be me, you just know to block, report, and stay safe in that respect. If you ever need confirmation of which handles are mine across different social media platforms, you can go to my website. Everything is laid out there. I want to say thanks to all of those that do choose to give back in the form of memberships, super stickers, super chat, super thanks. As you know, I'll be launching a podcast in the next couple of weeks. All of that support helps me fund projects just like that, which do take a lot of external resources. So I just want to say thanks. If you enjoy things like that, continue to give back and I can do more. So that's it, folks. Thank you so much for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. Couldn't be here without your love and support. So from the bottom of my heart, lots of love and light. See you soon.